My name is Clara, and I am 28 years old. My husband, Ethan, is 30. We lived in a quiet stone cottage in the countryside of England. It was a place that felt safe, warm, and full of our future dreams. Ethan traveled very often for his work in London and other cities. He was always far away, sometimes for days or even weeks at a time, but I trusted him with my whole heart and never doubted his loyalty. Whenever he returned, he always brought me little gifts to show his love, a silk ribbon, an old book, or a piece of jewelry to make me smile. His love felt simple and gentle, like a warm dream that would never end. I thought I knew him completely. I thought our hearts were one forever. I believed every word he said about his long meetings and busy days. I was wrong. I was living a life built on a foundation of clever lies. One sad afternoon, heavy clouds hung low and the air smelled like rain. I was peeling potatoes near the window, watching the gray sky outside. Then the postman arrived and dropped a small bundle of letters at the door. A cream envelope caught my eye. Ethan's name was written neatly on it. The seal was slightly broken, and my heart began to tremble with fear. I felt a cold shiver down my spine as I picked it up from the floor. "Maybe it's important," I whispered to myself, my fingers shaking badly. The room felt colder as I slowly opened the letter in the quiet house. My breath felt thin, like the air was being pulled out of my lungs. Inside the envelope was a photograph of Ethan sitting on a wooden bench. A small boy stood beside him, laughing and holding Ethan's hand tightly. The boy had Ethan's same wavy hair and those deep, intense blue eyes. Below the photo was a letter. "Ethan, Milio misses you. He asks for Papa. Please come to Harlow this Sunday. He wants to show you his new toys." It was signed, "Yours, Sophia." My world stopped turning in that second. Leo? Sophia? Who were these people in my husband's secret world? The knife fell from my hand, and the tears began to blur everything. The sky outside started to cry with me as the rain hit the window glass. That night, Ethan returned home. His coat smelled of heavy rain and smoke. He tried to kiss my forehead gently, saying, "I'm home, Clara. I missed you." I turned my face away. I couldn't bear the touch of his lying lips anymore. We ate our dinner in a heavy, suffocating silence that felt like a wall. He felt like a stranger in my own house, a man I had never met before. After dinner, I slowly placed the cream envelope on the table before him. Ethan froze completely. His fork stopped mid-air as he saw the photograph. The truth filled the room, making it impossible for either of us to speak. "You opened my post?" he whispered, his eyes wide with sudden panic. "Yes," I said, my voice breaking. "Who is Leo and who is Sophia?" His shoulders sank slowly. He looked at the floor, unable to face me. "Clara, Leo is my son," he finally admitted. My heart shattered into pieces. "I was with Sophia before I met you," he said. "We separated, then she was pregnant. I have been supporting them secretly all these years," he explained softly. "I hid everything because I didn't want to lose you, Clara. Please understand." You lied to me every day for years, I whispered, shaking with anger. Our marriage was built on secrets. You weren't traveling for work at all. You were living a second life with them while I was waiting for you here. Clara, you are my heart. I love only you, I swear. I pulled my hand away with disgust. His words felt like poison in my ears. Your love is a lie. A man who loves his wife does not hide a son. Your son needs his father, I told him. He is asking for his papa, Ethan. Go to him right now. You belong with them, not in this house with me. He tried to argue, but I stood firm. I couldn't look at his face anymore. Ethan packed his bag in complete silence. The house felt like a grave. At the door he paused and whispered, "I'm sorry, Clara. I truly love you." I said nothing. I just watched the door close between us for the last time. I collapsed into the chair and cried until my eyes were red and sore. My soul felt torn apart. My world was in ruins, and the silence was loud. Days passed painfully. I barely slept. I barely ate. I was just a shadow. Ethan wrote many letters after he left. He begged me for one last chance. He promised he would leave Sophia forever if I just let him come home. But I knew that trust, once broken, can never be the same again. Never. I looked at our wedding photos and realized I was in love with a ghost. I spent weeks wandering through the empty rooms of our quiet cottage, but I realized that I had to save myself before I drowned in his lies. One cold morning, I made my decision. I wrote only 3 words to him: "Do not return. It is over." I sent the letter and packed my own bags. I left the cottage and everything that reminded me of my broken heart. I rented a tiny room above a bakery in the city. It was small, but mine. I quit my library job and started working at a large, busy hospital. The work was hard and tiring, but it kept me steady. It kept me breathing. I spent my days helping people who were fighting for their own lives. Seeing their pain made me realize that I could survive my own heartbreak. Slowly, the color started to come back to my world and my spirit. I made new friends and started to smile again. The city felt full of life. I was no longer the woman waiting for a lying husband to come home. I was Clara, a woman who had survived a storm and found her own path. Months passed quietly. Winter covered the town in a blanket of white snow. One cold afternoon, as I was walking home from the hospital, I saw him. Ethan stood at the corner of the street, looking older and very tired. He was holding a little boy's hand. It was Leo, the child from the photo. Leo was jumping in the snow, unaware of the pain his father had caused. Ethan saw me, and for a long moment, we just looked at each other silently. Guilt lived in his eyes, but I felt no anger anymore, only a deep sadness. We stood there as strangers, 2 people who once shared a life and a bed. The little boy looked at me with curiosity, his blue eyes bright and clear. I gave a small, sad smile. a goodbye that didn't need a single word. I walked past them slowly, feeling the cold wind against my face. I never looked back. I kept walking towards the life I had built for myself. That night, I watched the snow fall from my window above the bakery. My heart still hurt a little, but I was alive, and I was finally free. I had survived the betrayal, and I had found the strength to walk alone. My world had broken once, but I had built a new one from the pieces, a life that truly belonged to me, a life without secrets and without lies. I closed my eyes and smiled, knowing that the sun would rise again tomorrow. Thank you for watching this story of healing. If you liked Clara's journey, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. Always believe that something good is coming for you. Never give up hope, even when the world looks dark. Goodbye, and see you in the next beautiful story.